tell us when we. Yes. Yes. Friends and their family on Facebook and Instagram. A wonderful Saturday, Sabbath morning, and I am not alone in studio today on Yahweh's Help FM. I have company, good company. And if you don't believe me, just look at the number of gray hairs on his head, and you know how good a company is. So I'm going to give him an opportunity to introduce himself.
My name is James Brown. I'm living here in Montego Bay, Jamaica, and I'm so glad to be here with you this evening, this afternoon.
And those of us who hear the name James Brown, we know another name comes to mind. James Bond. So I teasingly call him James Bond. Because today, see the caption for our discussion, we're seeking the truth. Who's better to help us to find the truth than James Bond? And we're living in some very curious times, and where persons really want to know the truth. So we're inviting those of you who are watching to pose your questions. Any questions? I think James says he can handle anything. Give us an idea of some of the topics that you don't mind them venturing into.
Well, actually, we're seeking the truth. So anyone can take the hot seat, and then questions can be asked. If I don't know the questions, I will surely go and find the questions. I'm sure that you can help.
I can help you, okay? What confidence. But I think both our years together, put together, make us almost 100 and 50, 60. Oh yeah, together, so it's lots of number of years of learning that we, in this school. So James says he wants us to approach any topic, whether it's health, whether it's financial, social issues that are happening wherever you are. I don't know about the political. I'm not very good at political. What do you think? You could handle the political ones as well?
No, I think we better try to stay away and get some politicians involved.
Yeah, politicians involved. Let them do their thing.
No hurt nobody.
All right.
Maybe religion would be nice.
Religion?
To speak about.
Why religion? What do you know about religion? Tell us, give us a little bit about your history.
I was born in Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised for about 12 years by a Jewish lawyer who introduced me to the practical side of being Jewish. There went into the Nation of Islam for over 20 years, and now I've been over 20 years in the religion of Buddhism.
Wow, he's traveling. No Rastafari?
Well, no, I haven't been to no religious meetings, but I was in the company of Rastafari since I can remember.
Ah, all right. So I think that should give you sufficient information in Jewish, Muslim, Buddhist, come again now, Christian. Yeah,
but I can only give you my experiences because I'm not a religious leader. I'm not a rabbi or a preacher or imam.
And give us an idea of your age. Are you over 70, over 80, over 90?
I'm over 80.
You're over 80.
Yeah.
And looking that good.
Thank you.
He's ready for marriage, right? Over 80, he's ready. So he's over 80, and he has spent many years learning. We were just talking earlier about the Hindu faith, and you said that you saw
Buddhism.
No. Religion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Google, and it says that oldest religion is Hinduism.
Who do you think is the oldest set of people on the earth? The first set of people that were on this earth?
Well, I believe
What
that
nation?
Africa, for sure. I believe it comes from Africa, but we've lost all our contact with our identity, with our religion and who we are and what we are, and so I wish there was some way that I could trace my roots back to the language and the religion that was
originally in your DNA. But the thing is, religion, as I understand it, it's man-made. It's man who comes up and says, I've heard from God, and He says I'm to be is Israel and Jewish, and then man comes up and says, I heard from God, I'm going to be a Buddhist, and I've heard from. So man creates, but when it comes to Africa, it's a way, it's a lifestyle is different. You know, people don't necessarily say this way because, you know, survival, living. Yes, people know that there is a God, but it's not necessarily a religion where people have to come to meet, to worship, to, you know. So I can understand them saying that the old in Hindu in India, and not necessarily in Africa.
Well, the way I understand what you're saying, when we speak about religion, we're talking about a way of life, and we're talking about a language. That's important because the meaning is the same when you say creator, but the language differs. So when they say Allah or God or the mystic law, or you give it a name. So man gave a name to the creator, and somehow that's became the religion. The religion of whatever language they spoke.
But how is it that man can give a name to the creator? Why is it that if a man creates a computer, he names the computer that he created, because he's greater than the computer that he has created?
Well, the Creator told man to give names to everything in creation.
Yeah.
So man look at an apple and call it an apple. It's an apple in the language, in the English language, but it might be called sha in another language, but the meaning is the same.
So you're saying that because the Creator gave man the power to name things, authorize him, say, go ahead, name everything. That means that the man could name the Creator as well?
Yeah, he gave a name to the Creator. But he meant the true entity of all beings. He meant the meaning is the same in all language. The language differ, but the meaning is the same.
So you're saying that the Creator did not take unto himself a name until man gave him the name?
Man gave him the name, so all the other people that could understand his language would know what he's talking about.
So all the other people who speak the language could understand, but nobody else who speaks the language wouldn't understand the name of the Creator?
No, but Creator in another language, it meant the same.
It meant the same, but they wouldn't understand. So like if I'm Jehovah's Witness and say I speak French, and I go to speak to someone
right
about, and I say Jehovah, he would know who I'm talking about.
No, not unless you said you had a common denominator, like the Creator, one who brought everything into being.
So unless all of us use the term the Creator and understood what it meant, or we would have to go again translating all those terms.
To use the term, but understand the meaning. In other words, if I'm talking to you and you don't understand what I'm saying, then you'll never understand. But if you ask me, what do I mean by the word Yahweh, then I can explain to you what I mean in the language that you understand. Could be a different name. but the meaning is the same.
It's the same. All right. Those of you who are listening, are there any thoughts or questions coming on Facebook, Eugene? No thoughts or questions? It's interesting, you know, because over the ages, that's been the thoughts of everyone that man can name the creator. But when I look at it in a very simple way, if I have a child, then ultimately the greatest power or ability to name that child, the person who has the most authority, that's what I'm looking for, to name the child would be me, the parent.
Right.
The mother or the father or grandma or, you know, somebody who's close to kin we possess the greatest authority in terms of naming the child.
You name the child, and then the child is taught what the name means, and when he hears that name, he responds.
Right.
It's the same thing with.
So we teach the Almighty what the name means?
No, he's not dealing with. He's dealing with meanings. He's not dealing with language.
So we take a name and give it to the Most High, and the Most High learns the meaning and accepts and answers, responds to the meaning.
Right. In other words, if you look at it another way, saying that you are a child of God.
And so the child has.
Parent named the child.
So the parent names the child, but in our case, we're saying when it comes down to the Creator, the child, the children of the Most High, we name the Creator.
You give a name to the Creator, so everybody that understands your language knows what you're talking about and who you're talking about.
No, we're talking about not just a title, but a name. Because a title, a proper name.
Yeah.
So you can use father, and would you call father a name or a title?
Well, when you say father, the first thing I have to think about somebody who gave birth, or is it somebody who raised the child?
So it becomes a name or a title.
Once I understand what you mean when you say father, then I can follow you with your conversation.
But does it mean that it is a name or a title?
I think it's a pronoun. I think it's not a proper name.
It's not a proper name, so it's more like a title that he wears.
Father, yeah.
Yeah. So, or a lover. You know, a woman says, "Oh, he's my lover." I says, "Honey, you know, that's not his. You know, that's just a title that he's being given, but not his proper name."
Right. And then you have to look at it another way. What does father mean? I mean, what it could mean one thing to me and something else to you. Is a father somebody who just gave birth to a child, or somebody who took care of that child and raised that child? Or what do you mean when you say father?
So it sounds like we can give titles to people or even to the Creator. So we can call the Creator the Creator. And that's a title because he created all things. We can call him Father because he fathers us, he takes care of us, he provides for us.
Right.
Or we can call him the provider.
Or the sovereign.
Or the?
Sovereign.
Oh, the sovereign ruler. Yeah, the overall overseer.
The Almighty.
The Almighty. So we can place titles on the Most High.
I believe
the Creator.
I believe I heard that there's 100 attributes.
Attributes
given to
the Creator. So he has 100 titles, 100
attributes,
names, and titles. But which
sure.
one? When all right. So like a child has a father, and the child could say, "Oh, he's my daddy. He's my father. He's my friend." But none of those makes the name of the father.
Right. And
the child, could the child just get up and say, listen, say the father's name is Alric or John. You know, say Alric. Can the child get up and say, listen, you're no longer Alric. You're going to be called Paul to his father.
could a child do that?
Yeah.
Of course, a child could say that, but it doesn't necessarily have to be so with the father.
Okay.
In
So
other
the
words-
father can have a proper name, which is Alric,
Yeah.
but the child doesn't have the authority to change that proper name. So the child can create lots of different titles for the father.
No, I think that each individual should have the power to give themselves a name. In other words, name is something that a child should strive for and look up to.
But
Names
but
have meaning.
themselves. Because they right. So
not
so
at
someone
birth,
older,
not at birth, but court
and later on and take on a name.
and take on a name.
But someone who is older, wiser, could name that child when the child is born, because until the time when the child is mature enough to take on a name, they have to be called. That child has to be called by a name.
Right, it has to be able to identify. If it goes to school and somebody say James, and you look around, you raise your hand, I'm here.
Yeah.
You know.
So the name becomes very, very important.
Very important.
Yes. But when it comes on to, say, a child naming the father, that's not a possibility.
No, I think that a child could make suggestions that like a child might sit down and tell the father, your name is James Brown. Where did you get Brown from? Well, I was the property of Mr. Brown. Everybody on the plantation was named Brown.
Uh-huh.
So James is
So the slave master is like having a dog, and then everybody says, "Oh, that's James' dog," and every time they see this, they say, "Oh, that's James' dog."
right. James,
So-
the property of
Oh,
Mr. Brown.
Right. So James was the property of Mr. Oh, James.
Right, and that's our names. I mean, McGee and Brown and whatever name.
But a thing about names though and naming is the authority that it gives to naming. So like I make a computer, I have the right to say that that's a computer, or it's a Mac computer, or it's a, so I have the right to name what I make.
Yeah, and when you say Mac computer, it means that Mac was the man that made it.
Right. So naming now the creator. If one has the power to actually name the creator, then that one has to have such greater knowledge or power than the creator to actually name the creator.
No,
Any man that is going to be able to name the creator.
like for instance, the creator says, you ask the creator, what is your name? And he said, I am that I am. This is what he tells you.
So therefore, that wouldn't be you naming the creator. It would be the creator telling you what he names.
No.
So it's like you and I are having.
What it's saying is that the creator says that my name is I am. And you say in your language what I am means.
All right.
So I am means Yahweh.
All right. So like I could say, you're having, and I say, what's your name? And what name would you give me when I ask your name?
Well, the only name that I could give would be an improper name as the creator.
No, your name. Give me your name.
My name.
Your name. What's
James.
All right. So you give me your name, James, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I can change your name. I might be able to, what they say, transliterate or translate your name.
Right.
Say it's in Hebrew. Some people say James can be translated as Yaakov in Hebrew.
Right.
Right? So say your name is Yaakov in Hebrew, but when I take it and transliterate it back, it must come back to being James.
Yeah, like
because James is your name.
Like in it'd be Jose.
Jose but
Spanish.
it must be able to translate it back to being James
Right.
wherever it goes.
Exactly.
But what is happening with the name of the creator is that people are saying, oh, his name is, but we're not able to translate all those names back to being the name of the creator. So what is happening is that we're having titles that are being used, and some people are using them for names, and some people are using names, but is it really the name of the creator? Because did the creator come to these people and say, this is my name?
Well, the way to get around all of that, if you tell me the creator, and I've never heard that name before, then I ask you, what do you mean by Yahweh? And you say, well, Yahweh is the creator, the true entity of all beings. Everything in creation came through him. Now I say, oh, that's what you mean. I understand. Now, in my understanding, in my language, it could be called different. And that's the problem why we're so separated today, is because we can't understand what the true name of Almighty God is.
One of the things I know about the importance of a name, for example, if I'm at home, right, and like yesterday, a gentleman brought some cheney root to the house, and he brought the cheney root to the house, and my smaller son, James, was at the house, and so he said to James, I brought some cheney root, and James says, that's fishy. Why would you bring some cheney root to the house? And then this man, because he's not really permitted at the house, we banned him from the house. And so what he said, no, he said, well, your mommy says I'm to bring the cheney root to the house. And James says, okay, that makes sense. If mommy says you're to bring the cheney root, okay, regard my mother's instruction, bring the cheney root. So what the point I'm getting at now is the power that comes with names. So like so if I like say I can send you over there and say, go tell that shopkeeper that James Brown says to give me $50. Or I could say I want to be rude now and I just go over to the shopkeeper and I say, give me $50. And the shopkeeper says, go away, he won't give you no $50. Okay, I'm going to tell you a real story now. There was a lady that had some watercress at her house. She has a river that is beside her house.
Yeah.
So I sent my nephew to the lady to ask her for some watercress. I said to my nephew, tell the lady that Maureen Minter says, give me some watercress. He went and came back. So the lady said, yes. I said, did you say to the lady that Maureen Minter? No, I just went and begged her some water. I said, go back to the lady and say to the lady, Maureen Minter is asking you for some watercress.
Right.
When he came back with the watercress.
Right. So when he went the first time, she never knew why he come, because she don't sell it.
She doesn't sell it, and she doesn't give it to any and anybody.
Right.
So my name now was the ticket, was almost like the cash that paid for the watercress. So that's the importance of the name of even the God, of God or the Creator. It's important for us to have a name because His name is the cash or the ticket in the universe.
Well, I look at it, I think that the Almighty God, in His mercy and His wisdom, realize that when is on their knees or when they're in desperate need of His assistance, and they reach out to Him. I don't think He's dealing with language. I don't think He's dealing with words. I think He's dealing with feelings and what's in the heart and mind of the person that's asking Him.
Psalms 91 says, Psalms 91 and I think verse 14. And for those of you who are near to your Bible and would like to also find Psalms 91 and verse 14, it says, you see, because we're just using old books with old information, it can always be refuted all the time. But to be honest, this is a book. I trust the good and the bad of it, the errors and the goodness of the book. So it's not perfect, but it has served its purpose in my life. So verse 14 says, because He has set His love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high because he has known my name. So the last part of it says the Most High is promising that I will deliver you when you are in trouble. I will set you on high wherever you are in a group. I'm going to lift you above in that group. Why? Read it for me and tell me what the last part says. Why is the Most High says? Oh, he needs his glasses. The Most High says, I'll do it for you because you know my name. So his name is important. It's important. And the universe has done a lot in concealing his name. Because there is such power in a name. There is power, great power in a name. More power than even the money or the material things that are around us.
Well, getting back to the power in a name, Jesus Christ. You understand that?
Yeah, if I understand Jesus Christ.
But in the original language, it was Isa ben Yusuf.
And so what's the power?
If you don't understand Isa ben Yusuf, then you Jesus Christ. Or they say, well, you call it Jesus Christ.
Isa ben Yusuf, Isa the son of Joseph.
Yes, the son of Joseph. But that translation of his name was Greek and not necessarily Hebrew.
But what did it mean?
It
Isa
means
ben Yusuf means Isa the son
of Joseph.
Joseph.
Right, but the truth is that even that name wasn't the birth name that he was given, because he was born to Hebrew parents, and that name is Greek. And he was born to Hebrew and lived most of his life in Egypt where they spoke Hebrew.
Well, what would it be? Do you know what would it be in Hebrew?
Well, there's a layman Hebrew that would be Yeshua, if the father's name is Yahweh, and he says the son is going to come in his name. Then if the father's name is Yahweh and the son is going to come in his father wants their children to bear his name, then by right his name would have to have something ascribed to it, which most persons who study Hebrew say it's Yeshua, which means Yahweh is salvation.
Well, what did God mean in that language? In Hebrew.
Translating God, most persons use Elohim.
Elohim.
Elohim or El. El would be singular, but because the Most High is plural.
But did God tell those people that Elohim was his name, or did they use Elohim to identify with the Most High?
Elohim is like a title, but the name now that most people ascribe to would be Yahweh, according to Genesis chapter or Exodus. Let me catch up by myself. I think it's Exodus chapter 3, when Moses was going down into it's time to wrap up. Yes, I'm being given the time signal because we have another show coming up from the Bene Zakrin family. But it's a good place to start next week when we go back again into the importance of names. Because really, we need to have these discussions often. I think, would you mind if I invited maybe a Rastafari to come and give us his perspective?
No, that not only a Rastafari,
Yes.
but people calling in to this station can pose their views
Right.
or give their comments, because this is what it's all about. Just speaking the truth.
All right.
The truth will set us free.
And the truth is that we're so sorry that we've come to the end. And of course, if you want to call in, it's that phone. And of course, if you want to call in, you can next week have it arranged where you can call us at 707-7966 to voice your opinion if you want to go live with your question. Actually hear your question. We're going to be doing it. And this is a weekly show that we'll be doing, Seeking the Truth. Suggesting and keeping your company on Saturday. James Brown.
And Maureen.
James and Maureen.
See, now you give me another name.
I gave him another Seeking the
And
Truth.
I can't accept that. So now I'm Bond and
Bond and Brown.
Brown. But
All right. we're going to thank you, and we ask you don't go away, because we're going to be joining the Bene Zakwin in a little while as they take us through the book of the 5 books of Moses, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. We're going to be discussing the I know we're in the book of Exodus still, so don't go anywhere. Join us live on Yahweh's Health FM. We won't be live on Facebook, but you can just click on the tab Yahweh's Health FM and you'll be able to join the discussion. It's about a 4-hour discussion. We don't really talk until sunset. So I'm looking forward to you being a part of our listenership. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Teacher.